But I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Devin Shaw, and I have been a nurse anesthetist for about 8 years now, a little over 8 years. The last 3 of those years, I was a chief nurse anesthetist here in Tampa, Florida, so kind of in charge of 80 other CRNAs at these facilities. And it was actually my wife that had introduced me to CBD. She is an oncology nurse practitioner. She primarily deals with patients with breast cancer at Moffitt Cancer Center here in Tampa. And she was basically just telling me almost a few years ago about all these benefits of CBD and how it was helping so many people, so many of her patients. They were, getting off of their anti-anxiety medications, their sleeping medications, using the creams for the neuropathies, all this stuff. And I was just kind of blown away. And I really just thought it was marijuana. I think most people do, right? That's kind of what everyone thinks when you see CBD. But really just had to do my due diligence, just had to really research, because there's a lot of bad CBD out there. The FDA actually found that 91% of the CBD products on the market are falsely labeled. That's a pretty big deal, right? Think about that. 9 out of the 10 bottles you see out there, whatever's in the bottle is not what's on the label. So you got to be really careful with where you get it from. And that kind of like took me back a little bit when I was looking into getting involved in the CBD industry. But thankfully I found Green Compass, who's doing all the right things. So why has CBD kind of blown up? The end of 2018, beginning of 2019, the Farm Bill had passed. Basically what this made hemp-derived CBD federally legal in all 50 states. So notice I said hemp-derived. This is from a hemp plant, not a marijuana plant. Those are 2 different plants. I had no idea. I thought they were the same thing my whole life. They're both from the cannabis family, but the hemp plant actually has high amounts of CBD, low amounts of THC. Marijuana plants are the exact opposite: high amounts of THC, low amounts of CBD. THC is the part that creates that psychoactive property. That's the part that gets you high. That's the part that they're drug testing, all those kinds of things. So kind of compare it to grape juice and wine, both from grapes, but 2 vastly different effects, right? So, these kind of little things kind of blew my mind as I'm starting to research it, because I realized I had no idea what this stuff was. And as I start researching, I come to find out that we have what's called an endocannabinoid system. I mean, all the years of medicine, all the books I've read, everything that I've gone through, I've never once even heard that word, right? And then once I read that we have more receptors in our body for CBD than we do anything else, that's all I did was study receptors, how drugs work in the body, how your body metabolizes drugs, all these things. Never once did I ever hear about this. So the reason was, back in the early 1900s, when the tobacco industry was booming, basically they wanted to capitalize, and they wanted to make as much money as possible, of course. And they wanted to lump hemp and marijuana together, because people started growing hemp farms, right? So the hemp farms started growing up, taking over the tobacco industry, and just got pushed to the side. So it was never studied. Not till the mid-90s, the endocannabinoid system was discovered. So it was just discovered. We're just now coming out with a ton of different studies that prove how much CBD can help with so many different things. Because you have this endocannabinoid system that's built into all of your other systems. It's in your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system, your nervous system, your lymphatic system. It's on your skin. It's everywhere. This is why you have so many receptors in your body for CBD. Right? And why do we have these receptors? This is what blew me away the most, was the fact that, guess what? We produce cannabinoids. We, as humans, all mammals actually produce cannabinoids. This is why we have this system. Our bodies are super smart. We all know this, right? So the reason we have these receptors, the reason CBD helps with so many different things, is because we have cannabinoids that we produce. You want to go down a Google rabbit hole like I did, just Google anandamide. It's one of the body's cannabinoids that we produce, ANANDAMIDE. And it's basically released when you are exercising, that sweat breaks through, you get like that runner's high, so to speak, or it's released when you're meditating, or also when you are, when mothers are breastfeeding, it's in breast milk. So this is safe for children. This isn't anything foreign to our bodies. There's a ton of children that use this. And it's actually one of the reasons why Green Compass got started, because our founders, Meredith and Sterling Cook, basically, a few years back wanted to create a CBD product that was so good that they could give it to their children. But they found the same thing I did, right? What the FDA found. And there's a lot of nasty products out there. So they partnered with the Wooten brothers, who are been growing hemp organically for a few years. They're part of the hemp pilot program in North Carolina. And they start making CBD. And they started selling it to just like, the idea was to sell it to pharmacies and chiropractors, physicians' offices, all that kind of stuff. But word started to spread so much that their product was so good that they had to change their business model. And that's how direct sales found them. So I kind of think that's a cool story because most direct sales companies don't start that way. Most of them start like, hey, let's make as much money as we can. And this was just a really cool family story. And that's what I love about this company. Because we're the only USDA certified organic CBD company that you can partner with. That's a really big deal that we're organic like that. And you can trust what's in it. And we're super transparent. One of my favorite parts is that we actually have a QR code on all the products that you scan that right there, and it brings you to the third-party lab testing report. That's very important when you want to try a CBD product anywhere. You want to know what's in it. More importantly, you want to know what's not in it. We're also vertically integrated, meaning we own every step of the process from planting the seed into the ground all the way till this bottle hits your door. And we're also partnered with the University of North Carolina. All of you medical nerds out there, you're going to love that because they're heavily researched, right? They're creating new products all the time, and they're a part of the forefront of all the CBD studies that they're doing at UNC.